Hello, good morning, everybody. Hi, Rowena.
Morning.
How are you doing?
I'm very well, thank you. How are you?
Very good, thank you. I am happy it's Friday.
Happy Friday. We're nearly at the weekend.
We nearly got there. And it's 2 weeks today till Christmas, isn't it?
Thank you.
I don't know if that's a good or a bad thing.
No.
It's Christmas jumper day at my son's nursery, and I forgot to put his jumper on.
That's okay. I couldn't find a Christmas jumper for mine, so he went in a Christmas t-shirt with his school shirt underneath.
Okay, I don't feel as bad. I was thinking, I'm the bad mum of the nursery.
He won't remember. It's fine.
No, he won't. He probably won't even notice, to be honest.
No, at least he won't wreck it.
Yeah, that's true. Don't have to wash it.
Yeah.
Say hello if you're here. Hi, Teresa. I can see you and Becky. Say good morning if you're watching. It's so lovely to have Rowena on. I've been thinking about inviting you on for so long, so it's great to have you here. Oh, no Becky says epic parent fail. Thanks, Becky. Thanks, Becky. Yeah, so do you want to tell us a bit about you and what you do and everything?
Yeah, of course. So, my name is Rowena Prendeville, and I have a company called REPersonnel, and we are a HR consultancy. So I work with small to medium-sized businesses, supporting them with any HR needs when they don't need a full-time HR person. So a lot of my clients are new starts, so we get them set up and running so they can not worry about contracts and handbooks and things like that. And then I have loads of existing clients who come to me with problems usually.
Yes.
Problems. But it's all fun and games.
You get to hear all of the gossip in a company, don't you, basically?
Yeah, and put on a professional face. Like, I'm not loving it.
Like you're not, and then going home and gossiping to your husband about it, no doubt.
I'm an extremely nosy person, so I love it.
It's great. Hi, Hannah. Lovely to have you on. And Teresa, bad mummy moment. I remembered. Oh, well done, Teresa.
Oh, well done, Teresa.
I put it in my diary, Christmas jumper day, for the whole day. I was blocked out for the whole day with that. But anyway, still forgot.
Never mind.
So Rowena, just to let everybody know, and a little secret, is currently doing up your house.
We are.
Which has been going on for a year?
A year and 2 months, I think.
Yeah,
I'm hiding my paint-covered hands from the camera.
Whilst running a business, whilst living in a caravan with 3 sons.
Yeah.
So, what a blinking year.
Yeah, I mean, I can't believe of all the years of my life, the year I'm in a caravan is the year we have lockdown. I mean, you could not have timed it worse.
Yeah.
It was horrendous.
But, and you're currently sitting in your bathroom that hasn't been quite done yet.
It's the only room that's not touched, and I've hidden away. Yeah, exactly. There's no loo in here, though. You'll be pleased to know.
Oh, good. You're not sitting on the loo, then.
My throne.
Yes, yeah. Golden throne. Oh, funny.
Just a bare room.
Well, it's great to have you on. I think this might be Fem on the Selling Savvy account. I always forget all the school stuff. Been getting away with it for years. So thanks, Fem. Makes me feel better. So today we are talking about engaging teams, sales teams, feeling engaged in your team if you're not managing a team, and all of that good stuff.
Yes.
So what have you found, Rowena, as kind of the word on the street about maybe what people are struggling with them at the moment, what employers and team members are?
So I think, there's a huge amount of things that people are struggling with at the moment. And I think whether you're an employer or an employee, I think everyone has to just sort of take it in their stride and don't have too high expectations of what you can and can't achieve. I think the biggest thing is how people adapt to change. And again, whether that is you running a team or whether that's you being in a team, everybody deals with change in a different way. And I think there's this lack of uncertainty of what's going to happen in the future that really makes people worry. Some people embrace it. You see people who, are at home like yourself, where, you're doing videos and, Facebook Live and really motivational work that you're doing, and to everybody it looks like, you know, you're thriving in that environment and your business looks amazing. And then there are other people who kind of retract and don't know what to do, don't want to do anything, they're just sort of hiding away from the world. And I think the biggest thing is to not put too much pressure on yourself. You're dealing with it in the way that you can deal with it, and you just kind of have to ride the wave. And you know, if you've got a team of people, especially a sales team, they're likely to be your more extroverted characters who love being around people, who get their energy from other people. And having been in a lockdown situation or furloughed at home, probably have struggled more so than introverted characters who are quite happy on their own.
Yeah.
So it's really about reading the people that you're around and that you work with, and trying to work out how you can work with those people and help each other to get out of what we're in.
Yeah,
I think
that's interesting. You say reading the people. I guess like picking up on signs that they're just acting slightly differently, because you'll know your team members and your colleagues well from previous
and you know,
times.
Whilst people have been furloughed, they've been treated really differently. So you could have some teams where the line manager has been engaging them with on a weekly basis, doing team meetings, having drinks on a Friday via Zoom. All those are like brilliant ideas and things that trying to keep everyone together. And then you've got other people who've just been left to it and no contact. You know, they might get an email every now and again to say this is what's going on in the business, or they may have had nothing. So people have had really different experiences, and you know, it's not necessarily down to just the line manager, because if the line manager has been furloughed, then really it's not they've not been expected to do those sorts of things. But it's a really hard situation where people have had such different experiences, and people will react to that in very different ways.
Yeah, definitely. I think from like talking to my friends and peers in the industry, I've got friends who've been furloughed or not working day to day in a routine since March. I mean, this entire time, you know, they didn't even go back over the summer for a bit. So, and a chat, you know, I'm thinking of one friend in particular, she's really nervous. She's saying, I mean, she's now been made redundant, but when she does get a job in hopefully February or March, it will have been a year.
I know, it's a long time, isn't it?
Getting up at 6, driving to work, like all of those like routines you take for granted, it's such a long time.
It really is.
It puts quite a lot of pressure on,
Absolutely.
will put a lot of pressure on her colleagues and her managers to kind of make sure that she's okay with that.
Absolutely, yeah. And if she's going into a new role as well, where people perhaps don't know her, that's going to be even harder for her, because they don't know what her normal is.
Yeah, that's really true.
Yeah, so
they won't be able to pick up on the differences because they don't know what her good normal level is. Yeah,
absolutely. And you know, it has been, and for a lot of salespeople who were furloughed, you know, a lot of them have seen, you know, perhaps the business has struggled or failed, and therefore they have been made redundant, and now they're out looking for other jobs. And a lot of salespeople thrive on that interview process and selling themselves, and they're brilliant at it. But there are so many people that are doing that at the moment that there is this added pressure. So, you know, I think people have just got to accept the fact that this is the way it is. You know, it's going to be really, really tough. You just got to keep going, keep trying,
so hard,
stay positive, and surround yourself. And if you're not working and you've not got colleagues, you've got to look to your friends, I think, friends and family to keep you going. And they know what your normal is. So, you know, you kind of have to surround yourself with people like that if you haven't got teammates, I think.
Yeah, definitely. I think especially for salespeople, I was talking to someone else about this recently, I can't remember who it was now, about how when you're in sales or in business, you're constantly, you do have lows when things don't go right, but you're always being picked up by those confirmed bookings. Every time you get a confirmation, even if it's a small one, it just lifts you a bit, and you're constantly getting those wins. It's been a really long time now us salespeople have had massive wins. And we've not been getting those little boosts of probably adrenaline and endorphins realistically that we're used to having on quite a regular basis.
Yeah, and I think one of the things that I was going to talk about was around, you know, if you are going back into work, or if you're part-time furloughed and you're starting to see more activity, you know, one of the key things is to develop this routine if you can, and it's about having a purpose for the day. It doesn't have to be a big win. It could be just to contact a couple of clients and say hello and see how they've been. Do you know what I mean? Start every day with a purpose, of what you want to achieve. And then at the end of that day, did you achieve it? And if you didn't achieve it, that's not necessarily a bad thing, but what went well? Do you know what I mean? So you finish every day with actually, I have achieved something, and this is good, and this is progress. And it doesn't matter what hours you're working or what environment you're in, if you can give yourself that little safe routine every day, you'll find that will help and that will keep you going. I'm not saying it's the only thing, but it is one little sort of tip that could help.
Yeah, I agree. And I guess be mindful when you're putting together your kind of plan or what you'd like to achieve in that day, is to make sure that they're really realistic, because I guess the more realistic, the more likely you are to achieve them, the more better you're going to feel about yourself. And even maybe, I mean, you'd know better than me at this, but you could put like simple tasks that you're probably going to do anyway. Like, I feel good when I've emptied the dishwasher and tidied the kitchen up. I know that's not.
If I get the washing out the washing machine and get it dried, that's a massive win.
To get some washing dried and away is the big achievement right now.
And it is. So the other thing is about targets and objectives are crucial, and that's not going to change. But it's about being realistic with them. So you want to build individuals' confidence. I want to build my own confidence so that I feel like I can go into the next day feeling good about myself. So you've got to be realistic about what you can achieve in those days. You can't set yourself these targets, book 4 weddings, because that's not going to be achievable, and then you'll feel like you're failing. So pick realistic, and this goes for whether it's the line manager setting the targets or people setting their own personal targets. Like you said, make them achievable so that you can reach them and you'll feel better about yourself. It's really important. Otherwise, you're just fighting a losing battle. And I don't very often do it, but I love a list, and I love crossing stuff off of the list. But it's really annoying if you set yourself a list for the day and you don't achieve everything you think you're going to achieve. So you've got to be fair to yourself. Give yourself a winning chance.
And I think we were saying earlier as well, weren't we, that it can be a little bit trial and error about working out what's realistic and what's not realistic at the moment, because we're all in such an unprecedented that word we're all in such an unknown time that things have changed. We know we're not going to be taking as many bookings, converting as much business as we have done before, or as high revenue. But it's kind of finding that middle ground about what is achievable.
Yeah, and it might be that you have a few small, sort of not easy, but a few small achievable targets, and then you have a tougher one, and you can kind of stretch yourself on some of them, and then some of them are there just to make you feel better and to know that you're achieving something. So I think as teams, it's good to work together on what do you want to achieve as a team and make it realistic. And that also leads into things like scenario planning. A really good idea is to get a team together of people and go through, when we open or when we're back up and running again, what are the kind of things that we're going to see that are going to challenge us? Is it you're going to suddenly have customers coming in through the door who've got ridiculous expectations about things because they've been sitting there for 9 months thinking about their wedding and what they want and how they want it to work, and they've suddenly, they've got all these ideas that you've never considered, or from a health and safety perspective, like how are you going to manage things from that, all sorts of things where you can start thinking about difficult customers or difficult situations, and you can kind of bounce ideas around about how people are going to manage it. And I think something I've seen recently in, like, not a lot, in pubs, I did go to the pub this week, is the difference between pubs that are doing it really well and pubs that aren't doing it so well. And this is a massive time for businesses that have been closed, and it's about planning so that when you can open, it's streamlined, it's professional, and it looks like you've spent the time you've been closed planning things to make it look really good.
So, and I guess that comes a lot alongside communication with your team as well.
Absolutely.
Because it's all very well having lots of plans, but the team need to know how to implement it, and your colleagues need to know where they fit in that plan.
Yeah, and the thing is, communication is so difficult. And we talked about when people have been furloughed, getting communication and not getting communication, people being kept in the dark. And when you don't always have the answers, it's really hard to communicate. You don't want to communicate nothing, but actually sometimes it's good to communicate to people and say, I don't know what this means, but what I do think is this, and what we're going to do is this, and trying to just take people on your journey. It's fine if you don't know. Nobody really knows, but keep talking to people. And when stuff comes out in the news, if you don't communicate with your team, they will make up their own decisions on what they think. And that's then when gossip starts and rumours start, and that can have a negative impact as well. So,
and waiting, if something comes out in the news that affects your business or something like that, then waiting for an announcement from your manager or from your team members, it can be really nerve-wracking. Like, I've sat in offices before where there's whispers going around with like redundancies and stuff, and really our director should have sat us down and been like, right, we don't know what's happening, we're working on it, we'll tell you by Friday.
Exactly. Or we can't tell you, there is stuff going on, but unfortunately we're not allowed to tell you. But what we will tell you is, you've got to keep serving your customers, you've got to keep delivering what you've promised you're going to deliver, and just keep going for as long as you can until we can communicate something with you. It's so important. And you're right, I've been in that situation as well, where everyone's going, is it going to be us? Are we going to be, oh, so-and-so's been called in, and it's this Chinese whispers is so unhealthy. Yeah, it's not nice. So yeah,
so we've got loads of comments here. Becky said, I remember what it was like after maternity leave. I couldn't even remember how to log back into my emails.
Yeah, the passwords.
That must be an actual serious issue. After furlough, everyone must be like, I can't get on.
The IT team would better get up and running.
Some businesses are booming at the moment. And IT and Zoom. Teresa, although really difficult, diversify and look at other opportunities. Sales is sales, and that's what we're good at. Yes, Teresa, I love that.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, do what you're good at, do what you love.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Hi, morning, Sarah. Oh, hi, Sarah. Nice having you.
Hi, Sarah.
Teresa, remember to believe in yourself. Oh, Teresa, you're coming out with these
Let's share them. I love that. It's so true.
Yeah. I think it's really hard to bring confidence and motivation and discipline from within sometimes. And you do need some external factors like colleagues or like friends. Like, I mean, when you're self-employed or working from home, it can be a lot more difficult because you don't have that camaraderie of an office.
Absolutely.
That can really bring you up, even if you're having a horrible client or you're having a really bad day, kind of have those team members there. So I think believing in yourself and waking up. I've been trying to think recently, like that phrase, tomorrow's a new day. Like, if I have a bad day, I'm like, right, I'm just gonna have a really good night's sleep and tomorrow's gonna be better. Yeah,
absolutely. And there are really key things that link to that as well, things like having a shower. I know it sounds so stupid, but sometimes when you're in a sort of a downward spiral and you're, if you're furloughed and you're working from home, or you're just in a bad place, get up, get some fresh air, have some exercise, and have a shower and feel clean, put clean clothes on. Like, it's so silly and so obvious to so many people, but actually, when you don't have a shower sometimes, it's a really horrible feeling.
Yeah, and you need to get your head in your mind in the zone, don't you?
Absolutely. I think, go on, sorry.
No, it's fine, carry on.
I was just going to talk about well-being and about mental and financial well-being, and one of the the whole exercise, food and drink, and looking out for people that are perhaps more withdrawn than before. The mental well-being thing is it's so high on people's agenda, and there is so much support out there for people. I think, whether it's somebody in your team or it's yourself, like, don't suffer on your own. But the other thing is financial well-being, and this has been a tough time for a lot of people, trying to find money to pay the mortgage or childcare. I think one of the hardest things is when you've got to pay for nursery and yet you're not earning any money. You earn money if you've got a child. It's really difficult. So there are things out there like free financial well-being checks where people will talk to you about what money you've got, if you've got savings, if you haven't, and what you can do in order to look after yourself for the future.
Just tide you over.
Exactly. So use those things, and I'll share some links afterwards about where you can get help and support from people. Things like that, because financial well-being is really, really important at the moment.
I think it's about being realistic with yourself about what the next 3-4 months hold as well. Like, I keep saying to my husband, I want to grow the business, do all of this cool stuff, and I'm itching to move forward with it. And my husband just keeps saying, you just need to tick over, you just need to pay the bills until this is all over. So I guess it's kind of having that conversation with yourself, really.
Is, I mean, the good thing about lockdown is people haven't been able to spend as much money going out, like that. So it has helped. That's helped me with my husband trying to build a house. Like, it means that we've not been spending so much money, but it's still really, really testing time for a lot of people. And salespeople who are, get commission on sales, things like that, that's going to have really been difficult for them to have not been earning that money. Because furlough payments wouldn't have covered that. So it is tricky.
So I know you've got some ideas on increasing engagement with teams and with your teams and your colleagues without having to fork out any money, without having to spend.
Absolutely, yeah. So I think that some of the key things, and we have covered them a bit, so bringing the team together, getting energy from each other will really help your engagement. Set a routine, have those little wins every day so you feel like you're achieving something. I think one of the things around leadership, and we talked about this, so either expect it, or if you are a leader of a team, directional leadership at this time is really important. So this isn't about letting people get on with the job and, that's it, they'll be fine, they're really good at what they do, I'm just going to lead them to it. Actually, in times like this, people need directional leadership. They need someone to tell them what's going to happen. So if you look at countries like Germany or New Zealand and you see how they've managed in the pandemic, they've had leaders that have stood up there and said, this is the situation and this is what we're going to do. And they've done it. And the country has kind of come with them on that journey and they haven't had so many issues. I think within teams, people need that at the moment. So if you are a leader or if you're in a team, expect that from a leader, because that will really help bring the team with you. And this is when leaders are going to be tested to their max.
I was going to say, it doesn't come naturally to a lot of people, especially when you've had a team that are very self-motivated, good at their job, hitting the targets all the time. Now when they're still very good at their job and there's no taking anything away from that, but nobody knows what the situation is, what the guidelines are, what you can and can't do. They just need that bit of extra support. So it's quite hard to kind of suddenly have to switch to your management style.
Absolutely. And it is going to be tough, and there will be some people that won't be able to manage it, or that will really, really struggle. But I think use the time that people have when you're not able to perhaps go into work, to do projects or to develop. So if you are a leader and you're like, oh my God, I'm suddenly going to be expected to do this or that, or I don't know how I'm going to do this, go and do some online learning or read a book or speak to somebody who is a leader who is really good at stuff like this, and get ideas, or watch clips on YouTube. Do you know what I mean? Get some inspiration from someone and learn, because that's when you will become better at what you do. And I think people need to use this time if they can. They haven't got, kids running around all over the place or whatever, to develop and become better at something. I was speaking to a lady yesterday who was saying she sets up apprentices and recruits apprentices into businesses, and she was saying she's been run off her feet because so many people have changed careers. They've been at home, suddenly they've realised that they want to spend more time at home, they don't want to be commuting, and you've got bankers who are becoming vets, or bankers who are suddenly working on the factory line because they love the banter that you get, and they spend years
leaving your work at the door, not bringing it home.
Exactly. And they get home to their kids, they can pick their kids up from school and all that kind of stuff. So I'm not saying people should change what they do if they don't want to, but I'm just saying develop, use the time to challenge yourself and learn new things, learn new techniques. And
I think that's been quite proficient in the events industry specifically as well, because people who have been furloughed or out of work for a long period of time, the industry has really changed in the last 9-10 months. Like, we've seen it working with clients and new offerings that they're having to do, the amount of learning they're having to do about virtual and hybrid. So if you have been out of work for a long time and you're planning to come back into the industry, you really need to just Google. Like, don't feel like you have to spend loads of money on courses. Just start researching, because when you start going for interviews and stuff, you need to know
understand how everything's pivoted.
Absolutely. And you know, companies like Reed do really, really good value training courses where they do loads of deals where you can get training courses for £10, and you know, things like that where you can learn different skills or things that will support you on your, you know, on your sales journey, that will be really beneficial. And it's challenging your brain, it's keeping you busy, and it's a benefit to your future employer or your current employer.
Yeah,
definitely.
Oh, thank you. Has anyone got any questions? Let's see. Shout out if you do have any questions for Rowena. Sarah's saying this resonates so much with what's happening in our teams at the moment.
Okay.
Becky, so true. It's important to be honest if you can be with your teams. Yeah,
absolutely. People see straight through it if you're not.
Yeah,
all you need is someone to ask a question that needs a specific answer, and you just get this blank look back at you, and you're like, yeah, I knew that was a lie.
Yeah,
you caught you out. Yeah, you lose credibility then, don't you? And then people aren't going to believe you.
Yeah, so, definitely. Yeah,
absolutely.
Teresa, LinkedIn do some really good free courses. Yeah, they do. Yeah. That's true. Yeah.
Yeah, there is so much support out there, I think, and you know, people just need to find something that helps them, supports them, or interests them. And that's the key thing. Find something that you're interested in and do it. And it doesn't have to be about sales, does it? It could be something completely random. Yeah. Just keep yourself busy and, you know, challenge yourself, I think.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, absolutely.
Rowena will do you want to put all of your contact details and stuff on the chat later?
I will do.
Yeah, and obviously get in touch with Rowena if you've got any questions or anything. Cool. I think the biggest thing that have been thinking and have taken away from this conversation is not to underestimate how difficult it is to lead a team in this time, or even, you know, work for a manager or just in general in this time.
It is so difficult, and it's unknown. That's the problem, isn't it? It's the unknown.
Yeah. And to kind of cut yourself some slack, and also your team members and your managers, because they don't know either.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely, yeah. And I think just speak to people. You know, surround yourself with your team and your manager, and talk things through.
Yeah,
definitely. It's tough. It is really tough. It's tough for everybody. So we can do this.
Good luck out there. Yeah, we can do this.
Like final conversation, isn't it?
I know. No, we'll be. We can do this. I think it's a weird time specifically at the moment because Christmas is so close and it's the end of a really shitty year.
Yeah.
So everybody I speak to is all on a bit of a wobble at the moment, including me. I feel better now, but I have had a wobble over the last few weeks.
Yeah, I'm with you on that.
Yeah, we were literally just having a big old bitch
wobble together,
weren't we? Before we came live. Oh, good. Becky says, really valuable, Rowena. Thank you so much. Sarah, really brilliant. Thank you. Glad that you found it useful. Next week, we on Savvy Says, 9:30 again on Friday morning, and it's all 4 of the Selling Savvy team. And you've got 4 for 1 deal next Friday, and we're going to be it's the last one of the year, and we're just going to be talking about the year, what we've taken from it, what we've loved and what we've struggled with, and try and be honest to a fault with everybody. So yeah, it'll be good fun. Thank you so much, Rowena, for coming on.
You are very welcome. Thank you for having me.
No probs. Speak to you later.
Take care. Bye, guys. Thank you.